Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 141, Briny Deep. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and irascible Dungeon Master, Michael Corley, and with me tonight, and only with me tonight, is James. James, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Hello, everyone. My name is James, and I'm playing Penton Chalice, a spell scale sorcerer who's about to drown.
Yes, who is about to drown. The reason this is a solo is because we did what everyone says not to. We split the party. Most of the party was teleported through the necromantic powers of Gorluin, the elven necromancer outside of Zintel Keep. What teleported them to safety. One of the party is now in the astral plane. We'll see what's going on with Distant Bells. And but last but not least, you did not use this cloak that makes you undead. Tell the listeners why, as Penton, you chose not to use this easy escape.
Well, you see, Penton has all of these like special, abilities, like not needing to eat or drink anything, and has like a really high AC for having no armor at all, because he took a vow of poverty, and this is built up over time. It's kind of like a divine intervention, if you will, for being pure of heart and etc. etc. But one of the drawbacks is that he cannot use magic items at all, own or use magic items, and I've always been worried that having Audrey around was kind of like pushing the boundaries of that, but she's a construct, and she has her own will, so I really consider that an ownership, just like a partnership. So therefore he was not able to use any kind of magical means device wise to remove himself from that situation, and therefore has to find other means, and foolishly talked Taka into joining him in this endeavor.
Well, and Taka, as you said, was the only one who may potentially know the way out. Where you are right now is in a massive area underneath Kalimvor. This area had been magically augmented by a single, essentially a wish from Taka the monk, using the Staff of Seraphim, using the other half of the Staff of Seraphim. Taka the monk has a silver arm that has been made for them by the artificer Prognati, and it gives them some, or all, you don't know which, protection from using the Staff of Seraphim. You have never actually known yourself what would happen if you used it, but you know it would be bad. So with this single wish, Taka created this massive underground lair, intending to make the perfect testing ground for young adventurers where they could come and test their mettle relatively safely, kind of like a danger room. They were thinking back to their days training under the great lizard folk monk, Raja, and to create a training ground like that. However, the staff had been corrupted by an evil spirit of the spirit of Cackle, who had been killed while trying to get the staff. And that corruption, in addition to the now revealed nameless one, the Faluzore, had turned this into a horrible place of death. And it was only because of your energizing the arm that Taka was able to dispel it. Unfortunately, half of this place is underneath the Sand Swallow Sea. Right. I'm going to try that one more time. The Sand Swallow Sea. Say it with me. No. And it is currently beginning to come through. When we last left the adventurers, you and Taka were trying to make their way out. Taka points westward and says, "I think it's this way out." What are you going to do?
Okay. First I'm going to ask Taka very intently. Taka, about how far underground are we right now?
We are about a quarter of a mile under the ground.
Okay. How how far do you think we are? How much land do you think there is between us and the sea right now? Best guess. It can't be that much because it's breaking through. What do you think?
Yes. No, we are currently under the sea. But of course, yes, cue the music. We are currently under the sea, but because remember, I put the staff itself underneath the layer of the Kraken to keep it safe, so that it extended all the way out to the layer of the Kraken, which was in the deep ocean. However, we are still underneath it, but we are in the area that is relatively close to Kalimvor. So we're not that far. I think we're maybe a few miles from Kalimvor itself.
So not too terribly deep. Okay, here's what's going to happen. You stand right here for a moment. I'm going to call to Afiel. And Afiel, I want you to shrink down as small as you can using that funny little ring you have. And come in and I'm going to put you in my robe pocket.
All right.
Trust me. You trust me, right?
I always trust you, Penton.
Oh, that's...
I know that you have my best interests at heart, and you would never let me die.
No, I don't. No, definitely not. That's the opposite of what I want. So, yeah, come on.
So, the smallest size that a creature can be is, I believe, technically tiny. Is that not correct?
I think so. I think it's like a number of levels down, because he's already pretty small.
Right. Afiel is a raven, correct?
Right.
Right, not a crow. Yes, a raven. And so ravens are pretty big birds, but they're still birds.
Right.
So when she shrinks down, she is now, I would say, she's about the size of a Hot Wheel.
Like maybe a
Matchbox car,
if you will.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Say size of a hummingbird. So very, very tiny. And
Perfect.
Where are you going to put Afiel?
I'm going to gently and carefully put Afiel into my robe pocket.
Okay. I would like you, this is not Afiel, by the way. That was a very good use of that ring. I would like you to make a 100 percentile roll for me.
Oh, boy.
And it will help determine what's going to happen next.
Okay. 46.
46. So really right in the middle, you see several more areas of the ceiling, and water is just spraying out. There is water at your feet right now. It is very cold. However, it is not affecting you at the moment. What would be one of the reasons it's not affecting you at the moment?
Oh, the cold? Oh, because that's another one of my side benefits is I'm really kind of immune to like regular hot and cold, like, upwards of like 150 degrees Fahrenheit or like minus 40, 50 Fahrenheit, something like that. Basically anything like naturally temperature variance, he's just immune to it.
Yes, and that's exactly why you were able to walk in the knee-deep snow a few months ago in nothing but your robe and your sandals.
Right.
And for that same reason, you're not freezing your butt off right now. Taka, you see, go, but Taka is also a very powerful monk, and monks have a great deal of control over their body, not quite in the way you do.
Right.
So first of all, Afiel is in there. The water is gushing in. And I would, now that Afiel is in there, I would like you to make a spot check.
Oh boy. That's like one of my worst things, although I'm in contact with Afiel, so that's going to help.
That will help.
Because Afiel's spot is +2 at least, as opposed to my -3. Oh, that isn't good. 6.
So the water is rising up to about ankle, so shin deep right now. And y'all are getting ready to take action. And that's when a rotting hand shoots up and grabs hold of your robe, and a face comes rising out of the water. A face that you recognize, because it's a face that is the reason you know Taka. It is the face of Archibald.
Oh, Lord.
Archibald.
Not him again.
And their flying circus, who you also met when your powers had gone out of all wonky. and you had to go on a little side quest with Archibald. This face is rotting. It is clearly undead, and it is snarling at you. And it is going to try to pull you down into the water. It is going to make, I believe we might call a grapple. Where? Oh, and it rolls terribly. That is a 13 total. Do you think that that's going to work against your armor class?
No.
Well, just for the listeners know, what is your armor class?
Currently, it is 21.
Yes, which is another aspect of your vow of poverty.
Right, yeah. Big AC bonuses. Even flat-footed, it's a 19, so...
yes, which I guess this might have been technically flat-footed. However, you're still, regardless, you're in the clear. You managed to kind of shake yourself loose of this Archibald, and Taka looks down and goes, "Oh, I hate that guy." This is up to you. You can try to do something to restrain it. You can try to just avoid it altogether. This room is flooding quickly. I'm going to leave it up to you before we go into full combat, what you would like to do with this undead.
Okay. There's not going to be any combat. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to put my hands on Taka's shoulders, and I'm going to say, "Do you trust me?"
Taka says, "You know it."
All right. And Penton is going to try a new toy that he got when he went up a level. And he is going to mutter a few words. Doesn't take any somatic effort or material effort. And he is going to cast Dimension Door.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And tell the listener how Dimension Door works.
Dimension Door basically just is kind of like a short-range teleport, where it just it kind of like tears a hole in time space, and you just kind of jump through, and you can go a certain amount of distance in a direction, and just instantaneously, basically.
Okay. Perfect. And I see that is 400 feet plus 40 per level.
Yeah, so 760 feet is how far you can go.
Ah, very impressive. So right. That far away, you can see like a ragged hole opening. That's the general direction that Taka was sending you towards. Right. So you could try to aim for that area if you want.
But that's not where we're going.
Okay. Where are you going?
We're going to go 760 feet straight up.
Okay.
I figured we might still be in water, but I've got a contingency plan.
Understood. So your Dungeon Master loves this. Your Dungeon Master's favorite X-Men character is Nightcrawler.
Oh, right.
So, by the way, Nightcrawler did literally this exact same thing once to escape. So I love that you are doing this. But as you would imagine, there is an element of error.
Right, the spell takes that into account too.
Yes.
If there's, like it says, if there's no space available within 100 feet of where I'm aiming for, you take a d6 damage, and it shunts you over like 100 feet to the closest to the intended location, and then it's 2d6 if it's up to 1,000 feet off. And then if it's more than 1,000 feet off with unable to like land where you were intending to go, it's 46 points of damage, and it just fails. So
beautiful.
But I figure 760 feet is going to be enough to clear the land underneath the water, and we might just end up being in the middle of the ocean or in the middle of the sea. But we'll see about what happens there. We'll see.
Absolutely. We'll see. So a lot of things will depend on that. I mean, one of which is whether or not Taka was right. Taka could have been wrong. You could actually be much deeper down underneath than you thought.
Yeah. I just figure, if the ground is crumbling enough to let water through and like chunks of stone coming down, it's probably not that thick.
It is a reasonable hypothesis. So I need you to make a very important roll for me. Now, your Dungeon Master is going to let you do something that's very helpful. However, your success roll is important here.
Okay.
I want you to make a straight Arcana roll.
Oh, all right.
And I know that because the reason I'm letting you do that is because this is tapping into magic itself. You are using your magic sense to almost like a sonar to feel out exactly how far up you need to teleport to get to safety. And I'm letting you use that. However, your roll here matters. So make that roll and let me know what you get.
There you go. Thud. Oh my lord. It's a 20.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I will take a picture of it and send it to you if you like.
You do not need to. I trust my players implicitly. Anyone who is willing to let themselves, like Lee, get chomped in half by a shark from a bad roll, I trust you guys. And that doesn't mean that you're out of danger. That just means that you succeed.
Right. And that's a total of 34.
Yes. Well, what in order to succeed in the way that you're looking for, you needed to get at least a 25. But you did. And so what that means is this rotting corpse coming towards you, which you highly suspect is not the real Archibald, is reaching out towards you. This massive dispelled almost everything, but not quite everything. And all of these things were things that are actually centered around Taka, not around y'all. Mm-hmm. The staff and the wedding that Taka broke into. And Taka would have known Archibald, who was also a student of Regia. And as this Archibald reaches for you, there's just a moment where you look down and squint, and then just, and there's a pop as the water just implodes in on where you are, and it splashes down into the water and is swallowed up by the darkness, and you feel cold. You just feel freezing cold. Now, the spell specifically says if you arrive in a place that is occupied by a solid body, which the dungeon master interprets solid matter, not water.
Unless it was, ice.
Yes, ice would also count. So you are not damaged by this roll, also by this very high roll. You succeed. There's only one slight problem. You're now in the ocean. You're completely underwater. It is freezing cold. Even with your incredible resistance to cold, you feel this.
All right.
It hasn't damaged you yet. And you could feel you could feel Taka just, you see a few bubbles going up. It is pitch dark, but you could just barely make out the shape in front of you. What would you like to do?
Well, and I know you're not going to believe me when I say this. I had these spells memorized before I knew any of this was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm going to cast it again.
Okay.
In the exact same way. 760 feet up.
All right. Now.
And I figure if it's a quarter mile under, we're going to be just over the water-ish. Hopefully.
You absolutely can do that. I would like you to roll one more time.
Okay.
The DC is not quite as high. Are you going for the maximum height?
Yes.
Go ahead and give me that roll, and that will determine several things at the moment.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah. It's 25 total.
So I told you before that you needed a 25, and I said that this one isn't as high because you have a better sense of where you are right now, but it's still very disorienting.
Right.
So
I apologize. It was a 23. Excuse me. I math wrong.
You needed to get a 20 or higher to fully succeed, and so you do succeed. There is only one slight thing: is you are now a few hundred feet up in the air.
Fantastic.
You are now. There's a moment like where you and Taka look at each other, and then Looney Tune style, boom, you begin your very fast descent. Now, of course, you are descending to the water. You are not descending to land.
Well, I was prepared for the idea that I would be in midair, which is why my wings unfold and we start gliding.
And tell the listeners what that entails.
Well, I mean, he's just got wings anyway, that he sort of sprouted a little while ago. He's been getting so connected with Bahamut and got kind of like overwhelmed by an air dragon spirit that like just flew right through him and kind of put him through some changes. So he's just got gliding wings now. And, he could change into a Dragonborn if he wanted to, but I don't think that's going to be necessary for this unless it's a long way to go. So, yeah, we're going to start gliding toward whichever direction is land.
Okay. So I need you to give me another spot check. Now, this difficulty is not as high. It is dark. It is dark outside, but it is not the most. But you have to remember, you literally appeared out of nowhere in the dark, sprouted wings, beginning to glide. It is theoretically possible you could go the wrong way.
Right.
Now, this is not as high of a difficulty, though, looking for the land.
I would like, hey, Taka, could you help me spot land, please?
Taka will be more than happy to use their eagle monkey eyes. Taka has very sharp vision. Taka is very perceptive. We'll be happy to give you advantage on this roll.
And hopefully we can spot some torchlight or something in the distance. I'm glad I got the assistance on that, because that was a 3, but then there's a 16 with +2 is 18.
18. All right. So for a moment, you do start to go the wrong way, and then Taka, pops you real hard on the shoulder and oh, that way. You look over and you see it. Sure enough, there are the torchlights of the docks of Kalimvor. And you can bank. Now, again, with your wings, are you able to fly?
Well, I'm able to glide. So if it seems like it's too far away to glide in, I'll probably do my switcheroo into being a Dragonborn. I guess it depends on, the angle and, wind currents and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to try and best guess it. And if I start getting too low to the water, I'll switch over.
Okay. So you are able to glide. So it's up to you. You will hit the water, but you will be close enough that y'all can, easily get back without something horrible happening. Or you can switch to Dragonborn and fly the remaining amount.
Okay. How far off the coast do you think?
Literally a few hundred yards that you would have to swim.
Taka, do you mind going for a short swim?
At this point, I don't see as how we have much choice.
All right, here we go. And I'll just go as far as I can, carry the currents as long as I can, and just kind of gently just kind of coast into the water.
Okay. There is a moment of panic from Taka, because Taka has never tried to swim with a metal arm before.
Oh, right.
And the arm is starting to drag Taka down.
Oh.
Taka needs to make a roll first.
Okay.
Taka does not roll well. Taka begins to sink under the waves.
Oh, boy. Can I grab him?
You sure can.
All right.
This is essentially a grapple roll.
Okay.
You could do a grapple. If you have athletics, you can try to use that. I had a feeling you might
That's
not.
Hilarious.
Yes. My little spell scale sorcerer.
Yeah, not everybody can be a powerhouse physically, 16 is what 17 is what I rolled.
17. That is good enough, because you're not trying to physically just haul them up and
right.
take them all the way back. You're just trying to stabilize them.
Right, grab them by the collar.
Exactly, and just kind of you're using you can't fly with your wings, but you're kind of whoom, 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 using them to kind of pull up a little bit. And you are able to stabilize Taka enough that they kind of, what they end up doing is this weird side swim. And their silver arm is incredibly powerful, but as I always say, if something is real, it's real, and you can't have a giant metal arm and swim and it not affect you.
That makes sense.
Yeah, any more than a character in full plate armor trying to swim wouldn't have trouble.
Yeah.
But they do figure it out. And y'all are slowly but surely making your way, and you're kind of Is there anything you want to do with Aphil? Little Aphil, who's now
Oh yeah,
buffeted
well,
about
yeah.
by the water?
Once we're in the air, I was gonna pull him out of my pocket and let him fly about.
I
on
will.
his own.
I will allow that. That as you were gliding, you let them out, and they boop, 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 and then they glow back to their regular size. And she is flying over y'all and going like, you're all wet. Oh goodness, you're all wet.
Yeah, so are you.
Fair enough. But she's laughing. And now you hear a sound. Boom, 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 boom. It's a sound you know. Something is coming towards you. And you see, over the torchlight, you see figures diving out of the way. And a very rapidly moving Audrey is coming towards you. Their wings are spread out, and they are coming very, very fast towards you in the water.
Oh, okay. So what, she looks like flying over the top of the water? Or?
Yeah. She's running, and then her wings just kind of float, and then she flies, and she's now hovering. You're about 100 yards off from shore, and Audrey is fluttering above you.
All right. Well, then let's try getting up in there. Taka, do you think you could make your way up in?
Yes. Taka reaches up and grabs, and it's almost comical. Like, it's like gravity doesn't exist. It's like stupid monks. Like, grabs hold, and like you see Audrey kind of wince. Almost, you can feel it really now because they grab a little too hard with their silver arm. Right. And just literally impossibly 180-degree flip, and then whoop, right into Audrey's open door.
Awesome. A little help, maybe.
And Audrey, Taka reaches down, but Audrey also angles up her leg, and just makes it really easy for you to get up once you grab hold of the leg.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Because Audrey has an incredible sense of where you are at any given moment.
I'm going to. God, I wish I could give Audrey a hug, but it's not really.
Well, you can mentally give Audrey a hug. Yeah. You usually don't want to hug the skull.
No, that's probably a bad idea. But but yeah, mental hugs for Audrey and profuse thank yous, and hey, let's get back to land before you get tired.
Gotcha. You do get just suddenly a as it goes through the water. This is not an attack. This is not a premonition of attack. This is just an energy that you get as a sorcerer. You can feel the presence of the Crackliffid in the Sand Swallows Sea.
Oh boy.
And it is not, like I said, it's not like it's coming towards you at the moment, but perhaps it sensed you on the water, just gave out like a mental feeler to kind of see where you are.
Ooh.
And maybe it would have been very bad if you had been out in the water for very long, depending on some of those rolls.
Yeah.
But you are essentially on land now, and within moments, Audrey boom, lands on land. You are heading back towards Kalimvor, and you can hear some excited people shouting and coming forward with torches because she ran past the docks, which, as I said before, is quiet at night, but is never fully quiet because this is a seaport.
I'll just hang out the open door. All's well. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Just a chicken hut. We're all good. Thank you for your concern.
And someone is coming towards you. Someone that stands out because people move out of the way deferentially. It is Alderman Bezra Badgen, the older woman who's one of the ruling council of Kalimvor. And she is coming towards you, and her assistant, the Kinku, whose name you do not know, is coming with them. Alderman Badgeman. Good Lord, I've cursed myself with these dumbass names. My fault. The alderman says to you, "Is everything well?"
Kind of, sort of. We rescued our friend Taka here, from being trapped in their own creation. Yeah, but everything's fine. Everything's fine. We're all good here. How about you?
All is well. We got some concerning reports of strangeness at the necropolis, but when we sent people to check, everything seemed to be fine.
Yeah, everything seems to be normal there now, I hope. I think. Yeah, everything's fine. We're just fell into the water, so Audrey helped us get out. Everything's good. We're just a bit damp and would like to go get dry if you don't mind. It's very cold.
Absolutely. If you would be so kind, as y'all have done before, you are welcome to come to my residence and dry yourself and perhaps a change of clothes if that is necessary. And she literally sniffs Taka. Taka mentioned to you that they have been living off sewer water and rats for
Yeah.
an undetermined. Like Taka looks terrible. Taka, I don't want to say like. Taka looks like someone who's been in a concentration camp.
Right.
Looks really, really bad.
Emaciated and dirty. And
Exactly,
messed up.
exactly.
Okay.
Really, really bad. They've just been living in the worst. They've basically been living in a necropolis, constantly under attack for what is probably months.
Yeah.
So they don't look good. And the alderman kind of sniffs and goes, perhaps a warm bath.
That's what do you think, Taka? That sounds like a good idea, don't you think?
Yes, and perhaps if you have some food. Alderman nods, of course. We would be absolutely delighted. We'll get something started. And she snaps a couple of times and whispers to her assistant, who quickly runs off back towards the domicile to make preparations. And she goes, just a word. As you head back, I'll walk with you.
You could ride in the hut with us if you like.
Oh, delightful. That would be delightful. And she steps up. She seems very at home with magic. You got the impression she did have a workshop downstairs for like making potions and stuff. So you know that she has some familiarity with magic, but you're not quite sure what. Like if she's a wizard or what. Or if she's just very knowledgeable. But she seems very interested in the larger on the inside chicken hut and all of that.
Yes, please come in and just don't touch the skull.
As someone who is somewhat learned in such things, I would never touch that skull. It radiates necromancy.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the negative side effect of Audrey being around, but we're working on it.
Well. As we are walking, what I would like to say is that the festival of Kalimvorn is going to be beginning very, very soon. And the people have been through a lot. The Cracklithid, as I believe it's being called locally. Obviously, the sighting and the proclamation from the Mind Flayer, all of those things. A little bit of normalcy is going to be very helpful.
That sounds like a great idea.
So I appreciate any help that you can to help just smooth things over, make sure things are quiet here. We want the people to have as good a time as possible. Has there been any progress in the proclamation from the Mind Flayer? Which, of course, the Mind Flayer had said to you, you must return with the whole staff and lay it on top of the oldest tomb in Kalimvor's necropolis.
Right. Well, yes. Taka here knows exactly where the other half of the staff is, and we are making progress. Absolutely.
Very good. I fully trust in your capabilities. The other is that if I may be frank, there are rumors of war. There are spies that we have sent out. There are rumors that armed forces may not be far from us. We have begun arming and fortifying Kalimvor. We have sent word to the king, who I believe you have spoken with personally, with the king of Hyboria.
We have.
In fact, not long ago, you with the teleportation. You have actually spoken with the king of Hyboria recently and kind of filled them in a little bit.
That's right.
Essentially, I'm just saying to you, you seem to be very capable. Some of your other of your group, bless them, seem a little impulsive.
Well, they have their moments, that's for sure.
Not that I don't try. I understand that it takes all types, and that I've seen many adventuring groups come and go throughout the years, and I know that it is not simply a wise wizard or a mighty paladin. It's everyone who makes things work.
Right. Well, there's not much to worry there because everyone else in my group is kind of elsewhere right now. So we had kind of had to split up a bit when the ceiling started collapsing on us, but no big deal. So it's just me right now and Audrey and Taka here. I'm sure we'll be able to get distance spells back from the astral plane eventually. But yeah, anything we can do will be wonderfully. Well, we'll be happy to help.
And the Kinku is in the astral plane right now?
It's a long story.
Yes. Very well. Very well. We are here, and she leads you in, and you make your way inside, and the hors d'oeuvres are offered to you.
Oh, nice, lovely. I'm fine. Give whatever you would have given me to Taka. I'm sure they need it more than I do.
It is like a main character in an anime. It is just demolished. And you remembered that Taka had just recently gotten the rations that had been summoned by your companion Tix. But Taka is starving and incredibly thirsty and is drinking and perhaps drank a little too much wine very quickly as well, and then immediately feels a little dizzy. But seems to be calming down and is led away where they can have a bath.
Excellent.
And that leaves you with yourself and with Afiel, and that is when you hear, because I love to do it too.
I start shuffling through my pockets trying to find the eyeball.
Yes, and sure enough, it is the doll's eye, one of two that had been enchanted by your special friend, Scald, in Massgate. And
yes.
You hold it up, and just almost like a little hologram in Star Wars, you can see her head and chest appear before you. And as so often seems to be of late, she seems to be very, very busy, even late at night. She's calling out orders to people and seems to be like signing off on things and everything. But she looks over to you and she says, "How are you?"
As well as can be expected right now. You're looking lovely as usual. You seem rather busy. I assume construction is still progressing?
Yes, things are going very well, and I want to thank you again for all of your help with that horrible creature that was from the mines.
Oh yes,
the Titanite. Your dungeon master. The word got out of my head. That very rare ore that it was partially made of. Thank you. The very rare ore. They are putting it to good use. And not only has it significantly increased her coffers from the relatively small amount that she was able to make, but they were able to sell it, most of it, to the royal house, and it is going towards the defense of Massgate and the kingdom. And
fantastic.
The king is very happy with all of you. Because even though it was, extraordinarily expensive, and the miner that y'all saved was able to price it out properly, it still is incredibly valuable and has incredible properties. And so Scald is very excited because she's actually been able to enchant some pieces.
Oh, excellent.
And is very excited to tell you about it. And she, as people often do when they have their little area of interest, she goes into these different items that she's planning on enchanting that will have incredible magical properties when they're done.
Oh, so, I had a thought.
Mm-hmm.
If there's enough left over of that Titanite, would there be enough maybe to make a staff out of, and not magical one, just a plain staff. Only if there's enough left over. I don't want to, deter from the great works that you're doing over there. But if you have just a little left, enough, or maybe just like, I don't know, coating a wooden staff or something like that, or banding one or something, whatever might be left over. I thought it might be nice to just have a little piece of it, to take with me and make whatever, and make a staff that's, a little more permanent instead of this old stick that I have.
Well, even a small amount is incredibly valuable, so I doubt I could fashion a full staff, but what you were describing otherwise, banding one, if we were to get some of the ironwood from the north, and that we trade with the ice elves, and we were to band it, it would make an incredible staff. Sounds lovely. I will speak with the king, and especially since it is for you, and see if we can make special dispensation to have one constructed.
I did make it available after all, so.
Exactly. Well, he is very, very happy. We made sure that he knew that you were critical in the acquisition when we were telling the story. It has. If I may say, my father was a very well respected jewel crafter and artificer. And I have never hurt for anything, if I may say, but I am now richer than I have ever been in my entire life. So I think that we can make things happen.
Excellent. It was just a passing thought, so don't make it a priority, but just keep it in the back of your mind.
Wonderful. Well, I cannot wait to see you in person. Of course, I can't really see you now, but I will see you when I come in person. I will see if I can find someone with some teleportation and capability, perhaps, who could take me over there, or perhaps someone who could fly me over there. I'm not a big fan of the Sand Swallow Sea. It's a little dangerous. I don't know if you know.
Believe me.
She laughs because she does know how you got there.
I was just in it, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really? Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I just had to teleport my way out of a hole in the ground that was collapsing. No big deal.
Fascinating. And at that moment, as the call is wrapping up, as it is, we zoom out and we see the fortifications of Massgate as these huge stone pillars are being forged at regular intervals. And if you were there, and you were there, you saw the beginnings of this when you floated down and were nearly attacked.
Right.
They are being magically augmented with runes to ward off anything that would come, because it is not enough in this world to simply have a strong wall. Not when you have spellcasters who can burn down large sections with a wave of their hand. So these walls are being fortified, and you would see that Scald is integral in all of that. And you can almost see her heading to the palace to speak with the king about a certain commission. And at that moment, for just a moment in front of you, you see the most adorable stuffed animal appear in front of you. A stuffed animal that looks suspiciously like a Kingu. And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 141.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you. I'm glad I could entertain you with my bamfing.
I absolutely loved your solution to this. Obviously, I knew as a spellcaster that you would find a unique solution, but I love that you were just like, nope, we're going up. And it all, as with D&D, what I love is that it comes down to the rolls. You could have teleported right into a solid object. You could have teleported much further into the sea, or you could have teleported so high up that the fall would become a problem, even with your wings. So, these are all things that are dictated by the dice.
Thanks, dice.
But if someone would love to see pictures of Penton or find out more about Penton, where would be somewhere they could go to do that?
You could go to our wiki.
Woo! Yes, you can go to the Chafing Armor wiki. You can find out links for that. in the show notes, or you can go to chafingarmor.com to find out more.
Absolutely.
Thank you for playing, James.
As Tix would say, thanks for not killing me.
We are definitely working on it. You're going to enjoy the next few episodes. Have a good evening.
You too.
And we will roll with you soon.